There's a quiet moment that doesn't get talked about much. It's not dramatic, it doesn't look impressive, but for some people, it's the most peaceful moment of the entire week. It's the moment when plans fall through, and instead of disappointment, you feel relief. When the outside world finally stops asking things from you. No expectations, no conversations to manage, no energy to perform, just you, your space, and the permission to be exactly as you are. For some people, that sounds dull. For others, it sounds lonely. But for a lot of people watching this right now, it sounds like freedom. And if you're one of those people, we need to say this clearly right from the start. Loving to stay home does not mean you're lazy. It does not mean you're antisocial. And it does not mean there's something missing in your life. In fact, psychology suggests the opposite. Some people end a long workday and immediately want more stimulation. Dinner plans, music, crowded places, movement. Others feel their body quietly asking for the opposite. Less noise, fewer decisions, a familiar environment where nothing unexpected happens. Neither response is better or worse. They are simply different nervous systems responding to the same world. Psychologists refer to this as optimal arousal theory. Every person has a different threshold for stimulation, the point where enough becomes too much. If you love staying home, your threshold likely fills up faster. Not because you're weak, not because you can't cope, but because your mind processes more information at once. Conversations require attention. Social settings demand awareness. Even pleasant experiences involve reading cues, adjusting tone, monitoring reactions. All of that takes energy. So when you finally return home, something subtle happens. Your body stops scanning. Your nervous system steps out of alert mode. Your breathing deepens without you trying. Home isn't just a place. It's a physiological signal of safety. And there's another layer that often goes unnoticed. At home, you're in control. You control the lighting, the volume, the pace of your day, whether you speak or stay silent. Out in the world, control is shared or missing altogether. For people with sensory sensitivity, anxiety, or a history of emotional unpredictability, that lack of control isn't just uncomfortable, it's exhausting. The nervous system stays vigilant even when nothing is technically wrong. It's constantly preparing for what might happen next. But at home, there's no anticipation, no adjustment, no performance. Your body reads that as safety, and safety is deeply regulating. That's why staying home feels so restorative. Not because you're avoiding life, but because you're finally allowed to stop bracing for it. There's also a widespread misunderstanding that staying home means you're not doing much. But research tells a very different story. People who enjoy solitude tend to be highly introspective. They process emotions deeply. They connect ideas internally. They think in layers. Low stimulation environments give the brain space to wander, and wandering is where creativity forms. That's why clarity shows up in the shower, why inspiration arrives late at night, why slow mornings often bring insight. Stillness isn't empty, it's fertile. Some of the most meaningful internal work happens in quiet spaces, not crowded ones. Of course, preference isn't the whole story for everyone. For some people, staying home is shaped by social anxiety. For others, by past emotional wounds. For some, by depression that quietly drains motivation. In those cases, home can become both a refuge and a shield. And this is important to say without judgment. Your nervous system learned what it needed to survive. Avoidance isn't a flaw, it's a strategy that once kept you safe. So the real question isn't whether you like staying home, it's why. Does staying home leave you feeling grounded, clear, and restored? Or does it leave you feeling smaller, disconnected and numb. From the outside, those two experiences can look identical, but internally they feel very different. One is nourishment, the other is protection. Psychology suggests that people who genuinely enjoy being at home often share a few traits. They can sit with their feelings without needing constant distraction. They protect their time and energy intentionally. They don't seek reassurance from constant external feedback. They enjoy deep conversations more than surface level interaction. They observe more than they perform. And most importantly, they aren't easily bored because they have a rich inner world. If that resonates with you, it means you don't need constant stimulation because your mind already provides depth, curiosity, and reflection. In a culture obsessed with visibility, speed, and output, this can be misunderstood. But it isn't a deficit. It's a different way of relating to life, one that values meaning over momentum. There are assumptions that often follow people who prefer staying in. You must be lonely. You're antisocial. You're avoiding life. But liking solitude doesn't mean disliking people. It means you're selective. You value connection, just not the forced or performative kind. And enjoying your own company doesn't mean something is missing. It often means something is solid. Modern life is loud. Notifications never stop. Burnout is normalized. Rest is treated like something you earn instead of something you need. For many people, staying home isn't a personality trait. It's a response, a way of protecting attention, energy, emotional bandwidth. Home becomes the one place where your nervous system doesn't have to armor itself. And once you experience that level of relief, it's hard to give it up. But here's where balance matters. The same habits that restore you can, over time, narrow your world if they're driven by fear instead of choice. Peace expands you, avoidance shrinks you. The difference is subtle, but crucial. When staying home is intentional, it becomes a strength. It gives your system time to reset. It protects your focus from constant fragmentation. It creates space for creativity, insight, and emotional clarity. So loving being at home doesn't mean you're disconnected from life. For many people, it means you're deeply connected to yourself. And in a world that constantly pulls attention outward, that kind of connection is rare and powerful. If this resonated with you, if it gave language to something you've always felt but couldn't quite explain, let us know. Like the video, share it with someone who might feel the same way. And if you'd like more reflections like this, consider subscribing. You're not alone in this, even when you love being alone. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.